All right, guys, I thought I would give you a quick preview of what kind of software we're building here. So basically, the big idea is that we want people to be able to draw stuff and like press a button and just get tool paths as fast as possible without having to go through a lot of ugly exporting and cleaning up of vectors and all of that sort of thing. So um, really, we want people to be able to draw something like this, put it together in 3D as it exists in real life, and then just press a button and have it all laid out for them so they can make it. So what you see here is my sawhorses that I make. This is really nothing more than a bog standard SketchUp model. There's nothing fancy here, no special modeling techniques. These are just regular SketchUp components, all made with the native SketchUp tools. And really, the only thing fancy you have to do is on each of these components, you orient the axis so that the blue axis points up. So basically, like the origin of this component has the blue axis facing up. That's Z in SketchUp. So basically, you just orient the axis so the part that you want on the spoil board is at the bottom. So I'll make a component real quick to show you. So basically, essentially if you just draw a component on the ground in SketchUp, this happens automatically. So let's say we want to make this little panel here. We just select the whole thing, make it a component, and if you look here, we'll make it so we can see it here. Make component. If you see the blue axis or Z axis is pointed up and it's in the bottom left hand corner, and the Y and X axis are on the ground plane. And really, it doesn't matter which way you put the Y and X axis. We're really concerned about the Z axis being in the bottom and pointing up. If you make a component and you forget to do that, it's really easy to go back. You can just right click on any component and click change axes, and you get this little widget here, and you can just change it. And again, all we're concerned about is the blue axis. We really don't care which way the red and green axis are going. So what our plugin does is basically lets you take a collection of components like this, can be as many as you want. You press the button here, and so a dialog pops up, and it asks you what you want to export it for. And so right now we're supporting VCarve, Shaper Origin, Adobe Illustrator, and then if you want to do something custom, we'll give you a custom file. We'll save VCarve for right now, and we're going to save this as horse. Like that. And so what we're actually saving out is a special SVG file, and I'll show you what that looks like. So let's go ahead over here to Aspire. Doesn't matter if it's Aspire or VCarve. And we'll import that sawhorse. And so here are all the pieces laid out along X, and they are all spaced well. And what's really nice about this is if you look closely and click on each vector, you'll see that we have nice, clean, closed loop vectors for every single part in this model. And the other nice thing is what most people don't know is that SketchUp actually does arcs and circles correctly. And we track those, and we bring them in properly. So you've got proper arcs and proper circles on every part that comes in, so you won't get like a jagged edged part, or you won't have to use Vectrix refit tool to sort of guess at the vectors you need. You get actual true arcs and circles. So just to make this a little easier to look at, let's do a quick part nest here. Kind of get these parts lined up on our sheet of plywood here. Now, here's the really cool part, right? So we get clean vectors in number one. Part two is we run our little plugin here, and it's going to ask us, let me back up here. So not only do we get the clean vectors, but we organize them on layers. So we've got a profile layer, we've got a drilling layer, and we've got two pocket layers here. So you can turn these things on and off individually if you want to separate out each part of your design. And we do that automatically out of SketchUp. But here's, again, where it gets really cool. So we're going to go to our Get Fabber plugin, and it's going to ask us which tool we want to use for our profile. Then it's going to ask us which tool we want to use for our drill. In my case, I've got an air drill, so I'll select that. It's tool number 31. Now it's going to ask me what tool I want to use for that 0.6 inch deep pocket. So I'm going to, again, pick my end mill here. Then it's going to ask me which tool. There's a 1/2 inch pocket here, and it's going to ask me which tool I want to use for that. So again, I'll say the end mill. And now what this has done is automatically built toolpaths that are ready to go. So we can do a quick preview here, and we'll just give a little visual check to make sure this is what we want. And that's exactly what we want. We've got all our holes drilled and everything's all set here. what's nice about the way that we're doing it too is these do not come up as imported toolpaths in VCarve. These are fully editable toolpaths, so they're made natively, automatically, but natively within VCarve and Aspire. So users can go back and fool with these and do whatever they want with them. So that's the way to get from 3D design off to milling as fast as possible. So we'll have this out pretty soon for you guys to check out. So we'll be in touch.